The world is full of insoluble mysteries. In fact, the earth which we live on. The main things is unknown till yet about the oceans, cities, rivers, and other water bodies. Many cities, islands lost forever in the oceans, but some are get found by archaeologists and historians and researched a lot about by scientists. But there is one city named Atlantis never get found till yet. But some of the explanations comes on the top. Let me tell you about something Atlantis with the help of my friends.
Summary. The lost city of Atlantis, first mentioned by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, more than 2,300 years ago, is known as one of the oldest and the greatest mysteries of the world. According to Plato, the Armenian island kingdom existed some 9,000 years before his death and mysteriously disappeared one day, famed for having been exhibit of all worldly pleasures in the world. This city is an enigmatic, as it is inviting. Even after years of research, the exact truth about the city has not been found. And that's add even more to all the flockers attached to it. Listen on to find what's so fascinating about the city.
The legend of Atlantis dates back over 2,000 years ago to ancient Greece, where a famous philosopher named Plato first made mention of the fabled island. He described Atlantis as a near-perfect paradise. According to Plato, the people of Atlantis lived over 11,000 years ago. They were very rich and very powerful, and they used their mighty navy to control most of the known world. But as the story goes, being very rich and powerful wasn't enough for the greedy people of Atlantis. They decided to attack the ancient Greek city of Athens. Big mistake. The Greeks managed to beat back the attack, and Atlantis was punished harshly by the gods for their greed. Plato says that there were violent earthquakes, floods, and destruction, and in just one day and a night of disaster, the whole island sank into the sea, disappearing forever into the briny depths of the ocean. It's a tragic tale, to be sure, but is there any chance that it's true? Did an entire ancient city really sink into the ocean? And if so, where did it go? There are tons of theories about Atlantis, but a few possible explanations tend to rise to the top. The most basic possibility is that Atlantis really did sink into the Atlantic Ocean. This idea was put forth in an 1882 book that argued Atlantis sank beneath the waves in the exact spot that Plato said it did, just outside the Pillars of Hercules, the two rocks that mark the entrance to the Mediterranean Sea. Another out there theory states that Atlantis is just an ancient and much less icy Antarctica. According to the theory, Earth's crust shifted suddenly 12,000 years ago, pushing Antarctica from its ancient spot in the middle of the ocean all the way down to where it is today. The newly frigid temperatures doomed Atlantis, which was buried under mountains of Antarctic ice. But modern science proves that the chances are slim to none that a giant island like Atlantis could sink under the surf or move that much that quickly. So those theories are out. The final theory is also by far the most popular. Most experts agree that Atlantis never existed at all. Instead, Plato made the story up as a way to teach people about what could happen to great civilizations that became too greedy. There are no
Unknown size of the giant city. Plato talking about the mysterious underwater kingdom rule. For the ocean, there was at time navigatable for in front of the month which Greeks call. As you say, the pillars of Heracles, they lay an island which was larger than Libya and Asia together. And it was possible for the travelers of that time to cross from to the other islands, and from the island to the whole of the continent over against them, which encompasses that vertical ocean. Agreeing with Plato over the size of the island, Tertullian, an island Christian author who believed that Atlantis really once existed in the Atlantic Ocean, said it would be bigger than today's Libya and Asia together. Since many other proposed the location of the city of Atlantis in the Mediterranean Sea, narration have come out scaling the size of the city to Crete, Greece's the largest island. However, in many stories after Plato's era, the Atlantis was discovered as a giant city. Missing anything specific about the size of the city, Edgar Casey, an American Christian mystic, suggested that Atlantis and Eurasia were equal in size.
Legend says that the Atlantis city was built by Poseidon, the god of sea, of storms and earthquakes, when he fell in love with a mortal woman, Plato. He made this city on top of a hill in an isolated island in the sea to protect her and named it Atlantis. According to the story, Poseidon walked through the world in an effort to find the biggest island until he reached the biggest of them all, Atlantis, and found it to be inhabited by people who were more beautiful and intelligent than the rest of the world. Captivation place. The new home built by Poseidon for his love in the city of Atlantis was surrounded by rings of water and land. The 5 rings of water were connected to the land with the help of 5 tunnels, where a huge canal connected the outer rings of water of the ocean. The tunnels were able to accommodate ships, and every route to the city was guarded by gates and towers. Moreover, the wall that surrounded the rings was built using red, white, and black rock and was decorated with precious metals. Meanwhile, there was another hill called the Hill of Callido. It is believed Poseidon captivated his wife because he was trustful for her loyalty. This hill was surrounded by huge moats and pillars. Plato had 5 pairs of twin sons with Poseidon, the eldest of which was named Atlas. The 10 sons inherited the great city, and the first child, Atlas, became the first ruler of Atlantis. However, it is believed they also built a huge temple of their father with a giant statue of Poseidon riding a chariot carried by winged horses. The statue was completely built in gold and placed in the temple, and its spiral roof was so high up that the clouds dripped through the spirals of the temple.
Self-sufficient and rich city. The fertile and beautiful city of Atlantis, where half god and half human beings lived, is believed to have been a self-sufficient region where people grew their own food and reared animals. Farmers in the city used to grow their crops in the fertile plains on the outskirts with the help of well-maintained irrigation system. They also built beautiful buildings and other architectures from materials like black and red stone. They also had access to
The
rare
legends of the lost city of Atlantis and other fables, the fact about the city still remains unknown. Among historians and other researchers, the findings of Edgar Cayce had something different to tell. Edgar Cayce had believed in the rising of the lost city once again, like the sun rises from the sea. He predicted a new land would appear off the east coast of North America. He also suggested that the souls of a number of people who lived in Atlantis has been incarnating to America in order to use it in a new era of enlightened human consciousness.
Exceptional powers of Atlanteans. As some claims that the lost city of Atlantis was on Mars or was just a colony of an alien civilization. The inhabitants of the Atlantis city believed to have the possessors of exceptional powers such as the ability to control the weather, modify volcanic eruptions. Some accounts also mention about their possession of some sort of devices that allowed them to channel energy from time and space. Some accounts also mention about their possession of some sort of devices that allowed them to channel energy from time and space. Thank you.